Welcome to the D.H.E show, where we talk about building empires without sacrificing on bedtime stories. If you are new here, this show, every single week, we're going to give you 2 to 4 actionable things that you can implement into your business, into your life today to start driving some results. But maybe more importantly, beyond just business, we're dads, we're husbands. And to us, family, man, it comes first. It matters more than all the stuff we're doing here, because what is the point of building a business, building an empire, building this whole dream if you're not bringing your family along with you? Today's episode, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about what we've learned with UGC, this whole user-generated content. It is a giant buzzword in marketing right now. It works, but you've got to be very careful and very strategic in how you do it. So I'm excited. We get to dive in, tell you everything that we've done so far, what we've learned, what we've failed at, and give you some tips and tricks on how you can start implementing UGC into your marketing plans today. If you're new to the show, again, please, there's 2 things we ask every episode. We don't run ads here. We grow if you help share the show and share the message. So if you get any value from us, if there's anyone that comes to mind that needs to hear about UGC and marketing and how to grow their business, please share the show. And secondly, I would really love if you could jump onto Apple or wherever you're listening to this podcast and leave us a rating and review. I don't know what I'm good at. I'm assuming not much, but hopefully you can give us some feedback. Did you like the show? Did we give some value? What do we do differently? What other topics should we be talking about? And we can't do that unless we hear from you guys. So please leave a rating, leave a review, and do us a huge favor, share the show. Thank you so much. Without that, let's just jump in.
Matthew, we are going to talk about my least favorite thing to talk about today. What is it?
Insurance?
Shoot. My second least favorite. No.
Marketing?
Not basketball. No. What was it? No, sorry, I had too much sugar this morning. Just kidding. As a joke. We're going to talk about UGC, user-generated content, because there's a lot of buzz around it. So, Matt, if someone just joined us and they don't really know a lot about UGC, what is UGC?
Yeah, UGC, the buzzword of the marketing world right now. User-generated content it's those ads you see, or those posts, those reels, those TikToks you see when everyday average people are talking about a product. Sometimes they're paid, sometimes they're not. But a lot of times e-com brands will hire influencers, people with a large following, to help them make content. And instead of it being content made from an agency, it's just made from another user. That's why it's called user-generated content.
So, Matt, you said something interesting. I'm taking some notes as you talk because I want to dig into this. You said sometimes it's paid, sometimes it's not. Is there a difference in UGC content that is paid or not paid?
There can be. I think the difference is, like, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, I just post stuff because I like posting on LinkedIn, and I'll talk about different brands or different companies. And I'm not affiliated, I'm not paid, I'm not anything, right? Like, technically that's user-generated content. It's just me talking about the stuff I like. But I'm not a professional content person. So if you look at my stuff, it's only as good as I am. If you're paying for UGC, you're usually paying somebody who is actually good at making content, where it's got more bells and whistles, it's more edited, it's more professional. And that's, to me, the biggest difference between the two is the quality. It's how buttoned up the final product is. Let's say it that way.
So, interesting. So you got amateurs making UGC. You got professionals making UGC. Amateurs, typically, it's just someone that likes your product. They're putting it out there. Then you got pros they're being paid to do it.
Yep.
Are there rules around one versus the other as it pertains to what you push out there as a company?
Not necessarily. I think the rules really come in. So if I'm a business and I'm hiring somebody and I'm paying them to make UGC for me, there are different rules, and it's all based on whatever contract you have established with them. And I'm not a contract expert, and for that part of our business, we outsource that, and we have an agency help deal with it, because there's all sorts of things that you have to think about. What rights do you have to the final product? Do you have it in perpetuity? Can you post wherever you want to, whenever you want to? Can you put it on all channels and all platforms? Can you put it on your website? Does it expire at some point? Like, there's a lot that goes into when you get into the paid side of stuff, where, quite frankly, like, I don't want to I don't want to be an expert in that, and so I'm totally fine paying a company that does it. On the quote unquote amateur side, but just the everyday users, no, man. If I talk about your stuff on my public platform and there's no caveat to it, and a brand sees that, it's fair game. I'll give you an example. I've got a friend who is sort of I guess she's an influencer. She's got a following on TikTok, and it's very specific on what she talks about. And I think she's got something like 40,000 followers, so it's a pretty big account. She's not monetized. She doesn't make money on it. She just talks about her journey with GLP-1s, which is Ozempic and that sort of stuff. She made a post about Liquid IV because it's a Liquid IV is an electrolyte packet that you put into water. It's huge. It's all over the place. It's owned by Nestle now. It's enormous. She loves Liquid IV because apparently one of the things on these GLP-1s is you need electrolytes and whatever. So she talked about loving Liquid IV. Turns out Liquid IV found her post because she's got a following, and they use it as an ad on TikTok to drive traffic and sell shit. She gets nothing for it because she was not under contract when she did it. It's fair use. It's out there. And Liquid IV got some free ads from just an everyday person that converts better. Right?
What? Explain to the listener. Why is that okay? How is that even possible?
Because it's just a person talking about your product, right? Like I could talk about anything I want to, and if someone talks about Switchback and I like their message, I'll go use their content because it's free, it's public, it's in the public domain, right? They're not doing it with any expectation of getting paid. Now I might reach out to that person and be like, oh my God, man, I loved your content. I would really like to use that in an ad. I would do that if I was a brand. Like, of course, I'd say something. And I might even say, like, hey, I really like your content. I'd love to have a partnership with you and maybe create something. So, like, it depends on the brand. I would say form a relationship, but you don't have to. It's your product. They're talking about it. I mean, you can do what you want.
How does UGC, compensation-wise, does it vary from platform to platform, or is it pretty much standard to hire a content creator across, the three main social media platforms?
This is where I start to have a major issue with UGC. It's different across platforms, and it's different by creator. It's different if you're talking micro influencer, so someone with under 10,000 followers versus a mega influencer. Right? They're going to have different fees. They're going to have different compensation structure. Let's just talk about, I think most people that get into this game, especially if you're listening to this show, you're probably a newer entrepreneur, newer e-com, newer brand. And you're looking at probably micro influencer because I'm guessing you don't have an enormous budget. Usually, and this is where I start to not like UGC, you're going to find creators that kind of jive with what you're all about. You like their message, you like their style, and you're going to pay them a fee to make a reel or a TikTok or whatever for you, right? You're going to prove it. You'll see everything. They'll give you rough drafts and, yep, cool, I like it. Okay, final product, awesome. Literally all they're going to do is post it on their social. That's it. They're going to post it, and they're going to maybe have a story or two, and you get to use it. You get their content usually if you're doing it right, and we get to post it, and we get to reuse it. But that's it. It's one post.
Does that generate sales, that one post based off of their stuff? Can you tie that typically back to specific sales?
So if they're really good, yes. If you have a unique link, so a UTM, a very trackable link, yes. But here's what we've learned. We as of right now with Switchback, we have 7 people that we have hired to do UGC for us. 7 of them have gone live. There's only one that we know any sales came from. Legitimately, there's 2. I take it back. There are 2 that we for sure know sales came from. One of them, I think there's 1 sale that we got, and the other one maybe 4 or 5. The other ones, no, I don't think we got anything from them other than a whole bunch of eyeballs.
So, if UGC from these creators is expensive, well, we'll stop there. How much does a video typically cost? What does that look like?
There's a whole range. I mean, we've paid some UGC folks $200. We've paid $2,000. We're not dabbling with the mega people. I don't even know. I mean, I'm assuming. I think I heard that Messi promoted something on he's got millions of followers, and it was $100,000 for the post.
Think if we hire him to do one post, we'll just explode.
What's that?
Think if we hire Messi to do one post, we'll just blow up.
Yeah. I do think if you've got someone like that who's literally got millions and millions of eyeballs on his stuff, probably.
Anybody with $100,000 of spare money they don't really care about, give me a shout. We're going to hire Messi to do one post about Switchback.
I mean, for us, we're paying somewhere between $500 to $1,000 is sort of the range that we paid for the folks that we've worked with so far. Now, again, it differs by platform. So this is for what we've done so far. It's been heavy on Instagram. TikTok is a completely different model, and YouTube is a little different too. Those are more. You still have UGC, but as far as I understand it, anyways, because we're just diving into it. Like on TikTok, you're trying to work with people not with upfront fees, but with affiliate or commissions on the back end. You're trying to find people who have good content that believe in your product, but they're really going to put a lot more work into creating stuff that converts because they want to drive them to TikTok Shop to get sales there so that the creator gets paid a commission on the back end.
You can go out there, you can hire these creators that have a following, micro influencers, middle influencers, whatever. It sounds like you can get some sales, but it's not going to light the world on fire. You're more so doing it for the content. Why would someone not just go hire one of the million agencies out there that specializes in creating UGC at a fraction of the cost?
How does an agency specialize in creating UGC?
So there's a number of companies out there that I've at least been told about and looked at where you tell them what kind of UGC content you want, and they have their people for $250. You get 3 UGC videos. You tell them what they want, or whatever. So it's much different.
I think the difference is that's not actual UGC. That's just agency created content. Like really, it's.
But they make it look like UGC, right? So to the end user, you probably can't tell.
Yeah, I think that's true. In theory, though, what you're not getting is you're not getting them posting about it on their platform. Now, here's the biggest learning I've had from UGC so far. In our experience, again, we've only worked with 7 so far. We've got another few coming. But you need to find people that you like their content, you like what they're doing, but they actually have people that engage with their stuff. Because here was the big secret in the aha unlock for me. The value of the UGC is when they post it on their platform, if you can be ready and watching and ready to go when it goes live, like coordinate with them. Okay, I'm going to post it on Thursday at 6:47 p.m. Awesome. I'm on Instagram waiting for that post to go live. And the minute it's live, I'm in the comments right away. Right? So we had a guy who posted, and immediately we went in and comments started coming in. And me as the brand, I responded to every single one of the comments. I had conversations right then and there, immediately as it was happening, answering questions.
Which is invaluable.
Right? So and that was the one that generated the most for us because there was, I think, 67 people that commented on the stuff. Even if it was like, oh, wow, great video, I love this, I would comment right away, oh, I'm so happy that you enjoyed it. If you're interested in learning more, please reach out. Right? Just like, oh my God, the brand actually talked to me. And then there were people like, well, can you tell me more about the product? Well, the influencer doesn't necessarily know, but I'm going to answer all that right then and there.
I think that's something that we absolutely have to harp on is a lot of this stuff is only as good as your responses and how you internally as a company handle it. I mean, Matt, we've talked about this before. I don't get my jollies off being on Instagram commenting. Like, I find it to be very stressful and kind of annoying. You like being in the weeds. Like, you enjoy that. There's a huge difference, and I guarantee you guarantee you we wouldn't have gotten sales if I had been managing this because, I would have commented on things, but not to the extent that matters. If you are going to have UGC and they're going to post it, you as a brand better damn well be out there commenting on all that, answering questions, being the face of it. Yeah. That's your job.
I think you have to. I think you have to assume that when you're hiring someone to help promote your brand, assume that they're going to half-ass it. And I'm not saying this as a knock to anyone. I'm just saying assume that they're not going to do as good of a job as you would in getting the message out how you want it to. So, of course, give the person you're working with flexibility to create what they want to create, how they want to, right? Don't be overly prescriptive on what they come back with, but you better be ready to jump in and answer and talk and like get the promotion going. The other thing that happens when you as the brand go in and comment is that the algorithm sees activity. They don't know it's you commenting on the stuff necessarily, but the algorithm just sees someone commented, another comment, another comment, another comment, another comment, and it just feeds the fuel into these things to keep kicking out the algorithm to more and more and more people immediately, which means you get a much, much, much bigger reach than if you just trust whoever the influencers that you're working with to post it. They'll jump in and respond maybe a little bit, but I'm literally, like I said, I responded to every single comment, and all of a sudden it went from what would have been 30 or 40 comments to 80. Right? Like that's a huge boost in what you're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. And I think that's a great tip for anybody that's listening. You're getting into the UGC, you're going to start dabbling in it. Let's talk about some of the pitfalls of UGC. I know we've talked about this on podcasts before, but what are some of the pitfalls that you've noticed, Matt, with UGC content, and how do you avoid them?
Biggest pitfall for UGC, in my opinion, is not doing enough due diligence on the front end to select the right people in the first place. You can't get enamored with how many people are following them or, the vanity metrics. What you have to look at is how many people actually give a shit about what they're saying and interact with them. So biggest pitfall number one, you pick someone just based on follower count. Biggest pitfall number two is the people interacting with them are actually people. So like there's a lot of bots and there's a lot of scammers and a lot of people out there that can make a couple $1,000s a post and not actually like really be trying to drive sales for you as much as they're just trying to get money for them.
Matt, that really is something that has changed my perspective of social media and a lot of these influencers. It's shocking how much garbage is out there in the influencer world. Just absolute trash, and people with followers that you start looking through them, and it's like, this isn't real. These aren't real posts. These aren't real comments. These aren't real people. Yet this person's getting paid $1,000 a post, and they're posting 50, 60, 70 posts a year. It's like, where's the diligence on behalf of these brands to do this? Now, yeah. Matt, you taught me a lot of this stuff, so that's why I say that. But
I think part of it too, though, is, and I didn't fully understand this when we started jumping into the UGC thing. There's different, a sales funnel, right? You're familiar with sales funnel, marketing funnel, yep. How that works. So think, for those that aren't, I'm making a picture of a V with my hands. The very, very, very top of the funnel is like every single person in the world. And the idea is, as someone gets more familiar with their brand and closer to actually purchasing, they sort of go down a funnel, down the V, towards the bottom, and the people towards the bottom are the ones that really are into you, into your brand. They're ready to buy it, right? There's different UGC folks for different parts of the funnel. So there's people who literally just have thousands, millions of eyeballs, but they're not ready to buy anything necessarily, right? They don't know who you are, but if you get your message in front of millions of people, that's probably a good thing. And then there's UGC folks who are so trusted, they're at the bottom of the funnel, that their people just buy everything that they talk about. And so understanding the type of person that you're hiring to do the content for you too matters based on what you want to have happen. And that's where you asked earlier how much UGC has generated in sales for us. We were getting more towards that top of the funnel, just eyeballs on our stuff, impressions for impression's sake.
Matt, how do you determine if someone's a top of funnel, mid funnel, bottom funnel influencer?
I think it's part of the due diligence and having conversations with people. I think also the ones that are willing to work on more of a commission are typically the ones that are used to converting sales, right? They've got a more trusted following. If like we're working or we're negotiating with someone right now, they've got 500,000 followers, 4% engagement. So do the math. That's a lot of people that interact. And I said, and they want like $2,500 a post. And I said, okay, well, what if we pay you $500 a post, but I give you 20% commissions on the back end? Like if you really have 500,000 followers and you really have 4% engagement, and I know how much our stuff is converting right now when people come and visit our page, I'm like, you stand to make a hell of a lot more.
So what was her response?
Right now, they're not interested in that because most people just want the money up front, at least on the platforms we're on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to chime in here with my 2 cents on that because I think it's, again, listen to Matt, not Ole. I'm jaded by the UGC, a lot of the UGC stuff because I've now seen it. I'm like, this is complete and utter bullshit. Like the amount of influencers out there that are influencing, it's not nearly as many as one would give it credit for. And anybody, they get 10,000 followers, which again, you can buy that. You can command these prices. Like it's the one market. I said to Matt maybe a month ago, I go, when UGC, when the gig is up and people realize that it's kind of a hoax, we're gonna have big issues in this country because I insist, like there's hundreds of thousands of people that are making a decent living, maybe 50, 100, 200,000 bucks a year as an influencer, that are influencing nobody. And they're hoodwinking these brands because these brands are desperate to get their message out. They just don't realize that nobody's seeing the damn message. Well, and it's interesting.
You and I talked yesterday about this. I look at influencers and UGC and all of this sort of stuff. I look at it as what magazines were in the 90s and what billboards were in the 60s. It's the new form of getting the message out. When I was at Land O'Lakes running brand marketing for them, I didn't do billboards because they didn't convert. Like, I didn't give a shit if millions of people saw Land O'Lakes' message for cheese. It didn't convert. Right? It was saturated at that point. It wasn't the thing. We were looking for the next tactic to drive stuff.
Time out. What was the last billboard message that you saw that converted you?
Dude, I don't even know. But that's part of the point is that back to that funnel analogy, billboard, they call it out-of-home marketing. Billboards are top of funnel. It's nothing but brand awareness. It's not meant to convert you. It's meant to just get the message and get it in the back of your head, right? The average person needs to see your brand between 8 and 12 times before they remember it and buy it. So how do you do that? Well, you hit them everywhere you possibly can. UGC is no different. It's brand awareness. It's getting your message in front of people over and over and over. Could be a scam, right? Like there's people out there who suck at it, but still, like I got our UGC stuff up right now. I'm looking at our impressions. So since we started doing this 2 months ago, we've had 63,000 impressions on our product. I don't know, is that good or bad? I mean, it's 63,000 eyeballs that saw our stuff.
That's a lot of eyeballs.
Right? Is that worth what we paid? I don't know. Time will tell, but it is a lot of eyeballs. It's no different than when you're driving home, you see a giant billboard with some product on it. Like, you know what I mean?
Here's something interesting too, Matt, that I go back to. You talk about top of funnel, middle of funnel, all this stuff. If you're an influencer out there and you actually believe that you're putting out good content and you have a great engagement, I would let it ride every day. I mean, I would rather pay someone 25% of the sale, which is going to leave us with very little, if any, margin, as opposed to paying them to make a video that's going to get, like, put your money where your mouth is. And I think that's a funny part is, like, I don't know, this is a little bit of a rant, but 50 years ago in America, like, you put your money where your mouth is. Like, I'm going to do that. Here are the goals. Here's what I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
Now, that's my problem with UGC, with a lot of stuff, is hey, hire me. Okay, what do I get? Well, a video? 2 videos? 3 videos? There's no ROI on a lot of these investments. Or if there's an ROI, but it's extremely difficult to quantify. You did it with 63,000 views. But if we have a board and we walk into the board and they say you spent $4,000 in UGC and you got 63,000 impressions, that's cool. What did it get you?
Well, here's the one other thing, though, that you got to remember where I do like UGC. Of the 7 that we're using, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them have now become ads for us on Facebook. So if you said earlier, you can hire an agency and pay them $250 or $300 or $400, whatever it is, to come up with content for you. Well, we have that, right? So we got the videos, the reels, the stories, all the stuff. We got the 63,000 impressions. With some of them, we got a ton of engagement in the comments and people liking our stuff and getting them. And we have now 15, 30, 45-second ad spots that we can use from the content to go drive more stuff, right? And one of the UGC that we have right now is our best performing ad that we've ever ran. She did a really good job for us.
I think the other kind of fun part about this too, though, like I'm naturally like UGC, like kind of pisses me off. But here's the deal: like we're learning, right? This perspective in 6 months, we may be like the biggest gung ho UGC people. Maybe and so don't take it as like don't do UGC. Matt has laid out some incredibly compelling arguments over there, and I think it's one of those things that do it with a balance, but go in eyes wide open. Just realize like you're gonna get sold. It's like NIL stuff. I can't tell you how many NIL people reach out to me.
Likeness. It's the college sports endorsers.
I mean, use this. He's the tight end for blah, blah, blah. You know, he's got 12,000 followers. Like, great, but none of them are in our demographic. And it's just really interesting. Like, I think you should try some of that stuff. I think you should dabble in it, but realize that there's no real, gold nugget or easy button in that space.
Do you want me to really blow your mind with UGC?
I want my mind blown.
I know we're already coming up at 30 minutes, but I think we've talked very focused on e-commerce right now, right? We're talking about what we've talked about UGC for is driving people to your website to buy your product or driving to TikTok shop or Instagram shop. There's a whole nother world of UGC, and this can become super powerful if you're a brand selling to retail. So let's say we're Switchback, and let's say, let's pick Target just because why not? Let's say that we get into Target with Switchback, and we get into all of the stores in Minneapolis, okay? Which that's how it works in retail. You pick the retailers, and you can either go full chain if you're good enough, or you pick a region and you test. So we're in the Minneapolis stores. People don't necessarily really know us all that much. You can go get all of the influencers in Minneapolis that talk about Minneapolis local stuff. You can find all of the realtors, real estate, moms, all of the people who have any sort of following in a market. You can go get those people to do UGC for you. You can get them to do UGC at Target, buying your product on the shelf, and you can take your message and instead of converting them into your retail stores, your Shopifys, your e-com, whatever, you can get the message to get people to go to the store that you have now gained distribution in. So if I'm at Target and I'm brand new, or I'm at whatever grocery store or whatever retail you're in, and I'm new on the shelf, and I get the message out 2 weeks in advance, coming soon, and all of a sudden I've got hundreds of people going into the stores to buy the product, and you drive a ton of sales, you look like a freaking genius in the retailer's mind. You drive sales for them, that means the retailer's going to love you, and all of a sudden you're going to get more space, you're going to get more stores, you're going to gain way more distribution because you have this channel of leveraging online people to get them into retail stores. People forget that is a huge power of social media that most brands don't even think about.
That was one of the eye-opening things that you said to me was when we were talking about, right, I had no experience around retail, and you started talking about, like, what are you going to do for the retail? I'm like, what do you mean? What can I do for the retail? And so you started laying this out. Like, look, these brands that I would call a scam that are exploding in some big box retailers, the big box retailer doesn't really care at the end of the day because it's driving a shitload of traffic into their stores. It's driving sales. And so they're going to put this stuff out there, right? So there's a huge aspect, which I never would have thought about, of like, can we drive sales into Target if we were in Target? If we can, guys like Matt are going to eat that shit up, and they're going to love us.
Yeah, and that's expensive, and it's not easy, and you got to pick markets to do it. But that's the power of starting to leverage. That's where social media becomes this omni-channel. It's leveraging the digital social stuff into the retail, it all comes together if you're doing it the right way and thinking through it and being mindful of it.
I love it, Matt. Any other topics? Anything else on UGC that you think someone listening should be aware of as they delve into their brand?
Yeah, I think the only other piece I'll throw out there, I kind of said this already, but I would definitely have some agency, some group, somebody help you just to get started. But really, UGC is no more than pick your favorite 10 people that you think would jive well with you, that you want to partner with, and just shoot them a message. Send them a message on whatever platform you're on. Be real. Like, hey, man, I've got this company called Switchback Foods. We're all about health and wellness and fruits and veggies, blah, blah, blah. Like, I love the message you're putting out there. I would really love to do something with you someday. Right? Just start a relationship with people. You don't necessarily have to pay. Like, it doesn't have to be this production of getting, people through a platform that want to do UGC. Like, you can just go find individuals or companies or brands that jive with your message and just be proactive reaching out to them and see if you can strike something up that way. Like, I think that's how all the real majorly successful people do it.
That is a really good piece of advice for anybody out there, because one of those things that I aspire that when we're a big brand and we have a bigger, like, we're going to work with other entrepreneurs and be like, yeah, we'll do some joint marketing. We'll help you, because I don't look at the business world as a zero-sum game, but it is interesting. You can reach out to other brands and ask them to do that. You can reach out to. Don't be shocked, though, when a bunch of them are assholes, because they're all zero-sum people and super afraid of their own shadow, and are like, no, we can't risk damaging our brand. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot, but whatever, move on. So, Matt, that was an amazing call-out. That absolutely go out there and try and do that. Work with other brands, joint marketing, etc. It can be huge.
Awesome. That's all I got for you. We'll definitely keep talking more on this subject, but if you're interested, if you have questions, if you want to chat about more, feel free to shoot me a note. Again, I'm not the expert in this, but I can certainly share what we've learned or help guide you through what you're working on.
And if you have an immense following on social media and you want to earn some money, let us know. Put your money where your mouth is. We would love to hear from you, and we will absolutely set you up as an affiliate.
All right, cool.
Peace.
Adios.